Dear students, in continuation of the cost of capital portion which we had dealt in financial management, the last few videos were related with cost of equity capital and cost of preference capital. Now in today's session I will be dealing with cost of debt. Cost of debt is one of the components of overall cost of capital. Like calculating cost of equity capital and cost of preference capital, we will be dealing with cost of debt. The formula for cost of debt is I divided by SV if tax is not given. What is cost of debt? Cost of debt is the minimum return the investors who had given their money through debentures or bonds have to be paid. It is not like dividend return, it is interest return. Minimum interest return to the debenture holders or bond holders or the other long-term investments where the company had taken from external sources. So cost of debt is very important. They should get minimum rate of return because they have the opportunity cost forgone. If they had invested their money, if the investors had invested their money in a bank, they might have got more interest, or the minimum rate of interest the bank is, or the government from the investments from which the government return is being given to them. So they are actually foregoing the cost. That there's an opportunity cost behind the investors who invest and the company which take as borrowed funds. So that is why we are calculating cost of debt. So it is annual interest payment which is very important for them. They should get minimum return as interest, which they had forgone rather than by investing in a bank or any other financial institutions. So the company when they take borrowings in the way of debentures and bonds, the company is bound to pay, or the company should ensure that minimum interest is being paid to the debenture holders or bond holders or some other source of long-term borrowed funds. So here there are two ways for calculating the cost of debt. Cost of debt is mentioned as KD, cost of debt. Okay. Now there are two equations. Interest divided by SV. SV is the sale proceeds from the bond or debentures. Bonds or debentures will be usually for a long period. So the sale proceeds of the bond will be given. If tax rate is there, because it attracts tax, the interest attracts tax. So tax rate is there, and the tax should be adjusted. If tax rate is there, the equation instead of I by sale proceeds of debenture or bond will be replaced as I by sale proceeds of debenture or bond into 1 minus T. Let us see how this problem is done. A company has 10% perpetual debt. The tax rate is 35%. Determine the cost of capital, that is cost of debt, assuming the debt is issued at par, at discount or at premium. Like preference shares, the debentures could be issued at par, at premium or at discount. So what are the informations given? We want to know about interest, we want to know about the sale value, and we want to know about the tax percentage. Everything is given. You see, tax percentage is 35%. The sales proceeds is 1 lakh, because it's mentioned company has a perpetual debt of 1 lakh. That is, now the repayment is 1 lakh. To the particular debt, the repayment is 1 lakh. So at par, the value comes 1 lakh. So interest divided by sale proceeds. If it is at par, it is 1 lakh. Sorry, if it is at 10% discount from 1 lakh, we have to deduct 10% discount. 10% discount, as it is issued at discount, we have to deduct. So the sale value or sale proceeds changes, the denominator changes. If it is issued at a premium, it is mentioned 10% discount and 10% premium. We have to add 10% to the face value or par value, we will get the sale value. So all the denominators we got, that is 1 lakh at par sale value, 1,10,000 at premium if it is issued at 10% premium on par value, and if it is issued at discount 1 lakh par value minus 10%, 90,000 denominator we got as sales value. Then what is the denominator? What is the nominator? Nominator is annual interest payment. What is the interest? It is mentioned. Company has issued 10% perpetual debt, means 10% is the interest. So annual interest, it will become 1 lakh into 10%. 1 lakh into 10%, that is 10% interest. So this is the equation, interest payment divided by sales value, if the tax rate is not taken into consideration. So everything we have done like that. So we got 10% if it is at par, cost of debt. If it is issued at premium, we got 9.9% as cost of debt. At discount, we got 11.1% by applying directly the formula annual interest payment divided by sale proceeds of debenture or bond. See, there is a small equation change here. If it is issued without taking tax consideration, it is mentioned KI, means before tax cost of debt. The small change, even if you write KD, it's not an issue. So it could be used as a synonym. Some textbooks, they are specifying it as KI because tax rate is not taken into consideration. In order to understand that, they had used KI. Okay, if tax rate is being taken into consideration, what we do? We have to multiply the I divided by SV into tax rate in all cases. So we could do that thing. It is mentioned 35% is the tax rate. So 1 minus tax rate means 1 minus 0.35. KI into, okay, KI into 1 minus, so KI into 1 minus. So what is it? KI we had already found. So it is, the actual formula is interest, annual interest payment divided by SV into 1 minus T if tax rate is there, that I had written here. Okay, so every answer into 1 minus T, we will get the tax included cost of debt. This is how we do the problem. This is all about cost of debt. In the next part, I will be taking weighted average cost of capital, and thereby I will wind up the portion. As I told, KO is equal to KE, which we had studied, cost of equity capital, plus KP, cost of preference capital, plus KR, cost of retained earnings, and KD. Okay. So this is cost of capital. This is also known as weighted average cost of capital. So it's all, when we know about the different proportion of investment, it is easy to learn about weighted average cost of capital or overall cost of capital. It is now called as overall cost of capital or weighted average cost of capital. Let us consider one example. You could see that weighted average cost of capital. The company's various sources of finance is given. Its face value is given. Debt. A company had taken 3 lakh debt. Preference capital 2 lakh. Equity capital 5 lakh. So the total capital of the company is 10 lakh, which is given in the question. And its cost in percentage is given. So what is it? In order to do the problem, we should know cost of equity capital, cost of preference capital, and cost of debt. If this is not given directly, we have to compute everything. In this problem, it is given directly. Cost of debt is 8%, that is KD. Cost of preference capital is 14%, that is KP. And cost of equity capital is 17%, which is given in the question. Now, these are the two informations given, that is the proportion of debt, equity and preference shares total capital is given, and the cost of equity, debt and preference shares is given. Now how do we calculate weighted average cost of capital? First of all, we will look into the weight. proportion is called as weight. We will apply the weight. Debt is 3 lakh. Out of 10 lakh total capital, debt is 3 lakh. So the proportion is 0.3. Preference shares, no, out of 10 lakh total capital, 2 lakh is the preference shares. The proportion is 0.2. Equity is 5 lakhs. So 5 lakh divided by 10 lakh, it is 0.5, the weightage or proportion. We will find out the proportion and we will multiply it with cost of debt for debt and cost of preference shares. We will multiply it with this is given in the question. You see, 8% for cost of debt, preference shares KP for 14% and KE 17%. That we are applying here. Cost in percentage we are converting into decimals and we are multiplying this proportion weight with the percentage of KD, KP and KE. We will get the weighted cost. Simple max. We are applying the weighted proportion and total weighted average cost of capital. We will get what? Or this total together we will get weighted average cost of capital, which is nothing else but by KO. There is another method also for doing this thing. We could directly take the proportion with cost. That is, we could directly take the proportion of cost of capital or directly take this proportion, debt, preference shares, equity, 3 lakh, 2 lakh, 5 lakh and multiply it directly with the cost. That is 8% KD, 14% KP and 17% for KE. Without taking the proportion also we could do. Then also we will get the overall cost of capital. This total divided by the total capital we will get weighted average cost of capital. So this is a very simple problem. We are taking the total KE, KP, KR and KD. We will get the overall cost of capital. One important point which I have to mention is that in some cases, the market value and book value weightage will be given. In such cases, you could apply market value and book value accordingly. Okay, if market value is given, we could take based on the market value. If book value is given, based on book value also we could calculate. Okay, so these are all the things about weighted average cost of capital. Weighted average cost of capital is nothing else but the combination of equity plus preference plus retained earnings plus cost of debt. So the portions ends here, the cost of capital ends here. We have studied capital structure. The objective of capital structure itself is to minimize the overall cost of capital and maximize the value of the firm. So in connection with cost of capital, in order to know about the overall cost of capital, we have studied the portion cost of capital or overall cost of capital in connection with capital structure. So that's all about the 5th module. Thank you.